How is it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna do another POV driving video. Today we've got this 2015 Chevy Camaro SS. I recently just did a full review on this Camaro, so definitely go check that out. It's up on my channel. I think I posted it probably a couple days ago now. And I did want to kind of do both the videos on the same day, but unfortunately we got rained out and I had to push it back a little bit. But this Camaro is a lot of fun to drive. It is, again, the SS. And getting in it, you can actually see the odometer is actually right at 11,930 miles. So this thing is pretty much brand new, even though it's 2015 model year. And it actually is for sale on Karma of Summit, New Jersey's website, so I'll leave a link to that in the description below. And also I do go on to talk about this car a lot more in depth in the full review, so if you haven't seen that, I definitely do suggest checking that out right now. But like always, now I'm going to strap the GoPro on my head and take you guys for a drive with me in this 2015 Chevy Camaro SS. Alright guys, so now I'm driving this 2015 Camaro SS, and before we get further into the video, I did just want to say that previously in the full review I did of this car, I did mention multiple times that this thing has an LS3. Someone in the comments actually did point out that I was incorrect, and apparently this thing, since it's an automatic, has the L99. Now, when I was doing research for this car to do the review, I mean, I just said LS3 because pretty much they're almost the same exact engine, but I did just want to correct myself. And even though, I guess, technically this thing does have the L99 in it, the L99 is pretty much just the, I guess, a variant of the LS3 that mates up to the auto trans instead of the manual trans. That's what I saw from it after doing further research on it. There's a couple like little different things here and there, but nothing really major. I mean, it's basically an LS3 that's just mated to an auto. But that being said, these cars do have phenomenal power plants. You can find the same exact LS engines in the Corvettes, but the LS platform in general is just a great platform. It's very old school, kind of pushrod American muscle V8 that kind of followed the Chevy 350 small block, and it definitely does make this Camaro a lot of fun to drive as well. See, now that's one thing that's kind of weird. You saw back there that I kind of, I guess, missed a shift, but I didn't really miss the shift. I hit the paddle shifters when I was supposed to, but these paddle shifters do have a decent amount of delay when it comes to shifting. It's not the quickest shifting automatic transmission, which is kind of annoying. And the paddle shifters themselves are a little annoying as well. You can see now with the POV angle that they're very tiny, kind of small, cheap plastic paddle shifters, and they're mounted to the steering wheel instead of the steering column. This is something that I feel like I complain about so much. And believe it or not, the C8 Corvette, the new 2020 C8 Corvette that I did a review on like a couple months ago now, actually still had the paddle shifters mounted to the steering wheel instead of the column, which I just felt like took away so much of the driving experience. Me personally, I love when they're actually mounted to the column because they're just stable when you're turning the wheel or whatever. They don't actually move at all, and I feel like it's such a simple fix that a lot of manufacturers should do, and I just don't understand why Chevy specifically does it. Now, while I'm on the topic of ripping on this 5th gen Camaro, I guess you can also say I really don't like the interior. I do like the black leather all the way around, but just the visibility of this interior is really, really weird. Like, the doors just come up super, super high, which is much different in the, like, my S197 Mustang. But it still is a hell of a lot of fun to drive. As you can see, it definitely gets up there really quickly. Now, by far, it's not the fastest car I've driven on my channel, but it still is a lot of fun. Even though it's an automatic, I feel like if I were to have a manual, you know, 5th gen SS, I'd have a lot more fun. But I mean, it is what it is, and especially someone who might be looking for a fun car that they can still go ahead and daily drive, this 5th gen Camaro SS definitely may well be for you. I mean, it is a really fun car that you can still, like, it still is very, very practical. You can tell now. And I talked about it a little bit more in the actual review of this car, but this car actually makes pretty damn good miles per gallon for a, you know, V8. I mean, yes, it's naturally aspirated and it's not like it's a modern V8, it's detuned from factory, but it does make like just under 20 miles per gallon on average. Now, obviously, once you start adding bolt-on mods or tunes to these engines, that number depletes a lot. But this still is a very clean and low mileage example of a practical and very fun modern American muscle car. Now, I don't know if you guys could tell a little bit back there, but this thing actually does have a decent amount of body roll for a like sports car, and it is weighed down a little bit through the corners and in the straights because this thing actually almost weighs 4,000 pounds, which is very, very surprising. I feel like someone who just may not know may assume that this thing weighs more along the lines of like a Mustang, but surprisingly the Mustangs are actually a decent amount lighter than these newer Camaros. To be quite honest with you guys, I don't know why that is. I'd have to assume it's because the Camaro comes with more, I guess, luxuries and features, and maybe it's just a little bit wider or longer than the S197 Mustangs that mainly competed with these 5th gen Camaros. But yeah, it's definitely surprisingly a heavy car. I also do like the very minor aesthetic mods that the previous owner did do to this car. You could tell from the outside it's like this lighter silver metallic body color, but the owner did go around and black out a lot of the badges, put like the fake carbon fiber on some of the badges, which some people might think is rice, some people might think is nice. Me personally, I wouldn't really have gone for the fake carbon fiber look. I probably just would have blacked it out. But needless to say, there are some pretty nice black accents around this car that does complement the silver paint color. And also the owner did tint the side windows as well as the rear window. And when you shift it into just regular drive mode and you have the windows up, the air on, it's a very, very comfortable vehicle. And one thing that I actually did think is kind of, I guess, a little quirky or weird is right now it's in regular D or drive, and when I put it into M, I guess that would mean a manual mode, but on the actual cluster up here it says S, which would stand for sport. So going back and forth from drive to sport, drive to sport, like just showing you guys, it's kind of weird that they would put an M right there and then an S in the actual cluster. Now when it's in the sport / manual mode, I guess, it does change the shift points slightly, but honestly it's barely noticeable. And also when it's in regular drive, you can still engage the paddle shifters by downshifting, and then you can see M2 or M3 or, you know, whatever gear you're actually in. that's just another like minor thing that I could definitely rip on this car, because I feel like it's just so simple to either put an M here and an M there, or an S there and an S here. Like it's a very stupid thing, I know, and in the grand scheme of things it really doesn't matter that much, but to me it just makes no sense whatsoever, honestly. Now anyways guys, that's pretty much just gonna wrap it up for today's video. Again, if you want more information on this car, definitely either click the link down below or in one of the video links to the full review of this 2015 Camaro SS. And also, if you are in the market for a 5th gen Camaro SS and you like this low mileage, very clean car, then definitely go check out Karma of Summit, New Jersey. I'll leave the link to this car's listing as well as their regular website down in the description below. But like always, thank you guys for all the support, and I'll see you guys in the next one.